Hi, I'm Miadria Baranek and you're watching the UseWise channel. We already have one video in our channel with differences between Office 365 and G Suite, and today we are going to talk about this some more with my CTO Mladen Baranek. Hi Mladen.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me. G Suite and Office 365 are without a doubt the most used office productivity suites in the cloud now. It is July 2019 when we are recording it. This video will be out beginning of August. So that's basically it for now. In the past, how have companies been solving those issues that now are being solved with the G Suite and Office 365? Can you tell us a little bit more about the history?
So at the beginning, there were different office productivity applications enabling office workers to work on documents. Then there was a table calculator. Then there was a tool for presentations. And long time ago, Microsoft actually bought a lot of different companies and integrated applications into Office Suite. So the idea was you were able to edit a document, but then you were suddenly able to include a spreadsheet in the document and present it to your management in yet another application. And Microsoft integrated different applications in a way that you can package content into basically one file and work with different applications in one package. And then, since that was before dawn of the internet, there were a number of challenges rising. So companies usually had various systems before internet, and email was not as simple as it is today. So Microsoft had its own LAN manager, its own solutions, and somehow it was quite difficult for Microsoft to integrate this whole internet thing into the package. So Google came in, and there were a number of challenges with mobile devices, with internet, when people were suddenly able to communicate freely. Exchange of information was not limited to small corporate networks. Suddenly you had a global connectivity. You were able to send email basically to any other person within the company and outside of the company. And content was presented and accessed through web browsers. So Google took what used to be personal productivity into a new space where suddenly you were able to collaborate on documents with other people. So unlike this Word document or Excel sheet or presentation file that was logged on your PC, suddenly you were able to work simultaneously with different people on the same document, and you were able to use not only desktop PCs and notebooks, you were able to use mobile devices, and people started appreciating that new freedom and ability to work from different places, to actually be more productive and to do their office chores without limitations of using desktop.
Yeah, okay, so to kill the first point, basically what we can say is that Google is the front runner in this area.
So,
and Microsoft is sort of playing the catch-up game.
Google is coming from the internet side, and they have clear advantage in collaboration in supporting mobile devices and web access, while Microsoft was coming from on-premise and personal productivity. So for companies that have a lot of legacy stuff and that have, I don't know, even macros and Visual Basic for application scripts, and that still didn't embrace this whole internet and mobility, it can be quite challenging to reinvent themselves and to start using new tools.
Yes, of course. And when we're talking about the Office Productivity Suite in the cloud, replacing basically your on-premise Exchange server, allowing your employees to really collaborate and to have the real-time collaboration without any issues, we can say that basically it is becoming more of a usual choice for companies than something that only the early adopters will be using. Can you say, can you tell us a little bit more about what is comprised in G Suite and in Office 365? What services are included?
So one of clear advantages of G Suite over Office 365 is email. So unlike Office 365 that comes from on-premise and Exchange server background with limited capabilities, Google actually came from a huge platform serving residential customers, and then started implementing enterprise solutions. So Google basically developed one of the biggest email platforms, where they have very sophisticated email routing capabilities, spam filtering, protections, and they are accessible on a number of other devices and support a lot of new modern protocols. So from that perspective, I would say for email and for video conferencing, for collaboration things, G Suite would be a clear winner. So while Office 365 supports, of course, internet email, it is traditionally accompanied with devices like spam appliances or antivirus appliances, and you have to do a lot of tweaking and twisting, and somehow this whole concept also of having Outlook as a client storing your emails locally and not making it accessible from all other devices, it's also limiting Office 365 to some extent. Of course, Microsoft is trying to catch up, and they also have Outlook Web Access. They have this hosted Exchange, and within Office 365 they integrated some additional capabilities to manage emails, but it is not as it doesn't support so many things that Gmail supports at the moment.
So when we are talking about companies that are really trying to move their workloads into the cloud and to be using all the advantages of the cloud, and G Suite would have a clear advantage, while on the other hand we can say that Office 365 would be more suited for companies that are not really looking to change so many things, but to get some of the advantages that Office 365 can provide and the internet usage.
So Microsoft shops or companies that used to have enterprise agreements or to have all of their PCs on Windows and that were using Exchange on premise, for them that Office 365 might be more familiar term. So it has some limitations, but then again it can be used with the internet. But for new companies that were started 10 years ago or later, I would say there is no doubt they could start with fully cloud solution and start with G Suite. So.
Yeah, we do not want to insult anybody by calling the Microsoft shop. In fact, we have seen with lots of companies that they are very proud of being a Microsoft shop, and they usually even emphasize it.
So Microsoft, of course, has a lot of excellent products like SQL Server and like.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Microsoft is definitely something that enterprises cannot miss. And when we are talking about G Suite, I would disagree a little bit. G Suite is also very well suited for companies that used to use Microsoft until very recently, but maybe in a more multi-cloud type of usage. We'll talk about it a little bit later with regard to the UseWise. So when we're talking about the any device, anywhere, anytime, G Suite does have some advantage because Google has Android. Google has invested lots more money, in fact, in developing very usable mobile applications. Can you tell us more about that part? And how this mobile revolution basically is changing the way that companies are doing their business as well.
So today almost all employees are expected to have mobile phones, and they would be able to access their email on mobile phones. So how they would work with the content, with documents, how they would be able to communicate with colleagues, it's quite important. And in that area, Google, as Adriana said, has a clear advantage, being Android maker. But Google also have a lot of web-based applications that are accessible from different platforms, like web kiosks or Linux devices, or even some other type of devices. So from that perspective, if you would like to enable your workforce to be mobile and to work efficiently without notebook or desktop, then G Suite would be a clear winner at this stage.
Great. When we are talking about plans that are available for G Suite and for Office 365, you don't have really to be an expert in licensing to see that Office 365 has far many plans and that they seem more confusing than G Suite. G Suite is fairly simple. Can you comment on that, please?
So G Suite is coming from very simple pricing structure. So they have 3 plans. This basic, which has quite a lot of services, but does have some limitations regarding storage and regarding automation. Then there is a business plan where Google would throw in unlimited storage for users. So just to mention, in G Suite Basic, you have unlimited storage of Google documents, but you have limited storage of binary files like PDFs or Microsoft binary documents and stuff like that, pictures. And then there is an enterprise plan that has additions regarding security, data protection, and it is also accompanied with some more tools for automation purposes that are well suited for corporations. So, of course, Google has some additional products like voice services, like they even have special hardware devices like Chromebooks and Chromeboxes, where you can use management of those devices to install web applications and stuff like that. So you can basically manage mobile devices and Chrome devices from one single platform. So Microsoft is coming from a world where you have a lot of SKUs, and you have also three basic plans. So there is one plan where you have email and web applications for Office 365. Then there is a plan where you have on-premises applications, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, and even Access, accompanied with web applications. And then there is a plan where you have on-premise applications mainly, and only a limited set of web applications. Of course, Microsoft has additional applications that you can buy within those packages, like Visio or Project, and they also have additional services for Skype for Business, Teams for collaboration and for video conferencing, for cloud PBX solutions and stuff like that. So that's basically how Microsoft structures their offering.
Yeah. So basically, it is never an easy subject. If a company is looking to change their office productivity and their email server, there are many factors that one has to take into consideration. When we are looking at G Suite and Office 365, we have often seen that lots of companies could use some sort of a mix of two solutions, and that would be a best solution. Our UseWise is basically based on an idea that companies need to have this ability to mix those two solutions, because it is not easy. It is not easy to mix those two solutions. It creates lots of problems. It is not automated, and UseWise will provide this automation for companies to be able to do all from one place. Can you comment on that, please?
So, for example, Office 365 relies on Azure Active Directory services to provide identity and authentication for users, and companies trying to implement Office 365 will have usually additional complexity of running two or even more servers needed for this identity and authentication on-premise, along with configuring Azure Active Directory, and additionally maybe some servers to enable synchronization of passwords and users. Then there is additional challenge of security. So in the era of internet, using two-step authentication is kind of mandatory, not only for administrators but also for users that for workforce that is in the field. So they often have mobile devices that can be eventually accessed by third parties, and that can be easily lost. So it is quite important for enterprise to protect themselves and to be able to ensure that the person who is logged in is actually the person who has who is the owner of device. From that perspective, Google offers simplified identity services, but it is possible to to use either Google Identity or Azure Active Directory with on-prem Active Directory services to provision users in both platforms and to provide seamless login and management of user credentials. So this is one area where UseWise will come very handy.
Yeah. And our next video will in fact be on the topic of Google Identity versus Microsoft Active Directory in the cloud. We will be talking about that in more details. So basically, we just wanted to give you an idea with this talk on how complex this issue of G Suite versus Office 365 is. We do not think that this is a decision that can be made lightly. We are developing some questionnaires for UseWise, some automation to give you opportunity to put your data in and to get the recommendation that will come as close as possible to the best solution for you. But until that is online, I hope that you enjoyed our little chat. We'll be repeating those videos from time to time because things are really changing, and both Office 365 and G Suite are well on their way to improve every day. So it is a very exciting area, and we are very excited with what we are developing in the background for UseWise. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I'm looking forward to this Azure Active Directory and Google Identity session.
Great. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and we will be making new videos very soon.
Bye.
Bye.